Hi everyone, I'm Imogen from Course Report. We are a resource for researching which coding bootcamp is right for you. We have a directory of different coding schools, a blog, and interviews with founders, instructors, and students, all to help you work out which bootcamp you want to go to. Today, I'm speaking with Turing School student Ellen Cooper, who is going to demo one of her favorite projects for us. She's going to share her screen with us so we can see exactly how it works and how she built it. So Ellen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. So maybe we can start and you can tell me about what you were up to before Turing and what motivated you to enroll at Turing School.
Yeah, definitely. So before Turing, I was working in public finance investment banking. So that was basically working on municipal bond issues for school districts, cities, all kinds of public entities. So I did that for about 3.5 years. And during that time, I took up coding as a hobby, and it was something that I just maintained an interest in. And I just got to the point where I was kind of ready for a new challenge in my career, and I knew I was interested in coding and it kind of suited me. So I just decided it was time to make the switch. And then in terms of Turing, it just had a great reputation. I looked at Course Report all the time, just checking out different boot camps. So I was just really impressed by the reputation, and I kind of had always wanted to live in Denver, so it just kind of worked out well.
Awesome, that's so cool. And so you've been going through the program, you're almost finished, very exciting. I was wondering, at what point do you actually start building projects?
Yeah, so we basically start doing projects the first week of Turing. I mean, they start out very small. They're all done in Ruby, and they're in the command line, in the backend program at least. So you're not building web apps until the second module of Turing, but yeah, within the first week you have your first project assigned and have a graded project. So yeah.
Awesome. So for this project, what did you actually build, and how did you come up with the idea for it?
Yeah, so this is a project called Not Here to Make Friends. It's, if you've ever played fantasy football, it's essentially that, but for the Bachelor, Bachelorette TV shows. So basically I came up with it. It was something that before Turing, my friends and I had been playing in a spreadsheet just on our own. One of my friends made it up for other friends, and the spreadsheet was a little difficult to maintain, and it just seemed like a really fun app idea. So it was an idea I had before Turing, and then when we had like our first project where we got to choose what we did, I was definitely like excited to do this. So yeah.
Awesome, that sounds super cool. I did have a quick peek at it before we joined, but I'm really excited to see it properly and how it all works. So yeah, can you share your screen now and show me how it all works?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, are we good?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So this is just the landing page of the app, and just to give you an idea of how it works is essentially similar to fantasy football, that you have a league with your friends, and then each team from the league will draft contestants on the show, and then each week will earn them points for your team. So we'll just go ahead and log in. So this is one of my leagues. I made it multi-league so that, if you want to play with different groups of friends, you have that option. And this is the prompt you get before you've drafted. So we'll go ahead and draft. And this right now is a demo, so I'm just using kind of fake data, using some of the people that were on the last season of The Bachelorette, but definitely I'm going to get it ready to go for the next season of The Bachelor. So here's the drafting room. So you can drag and drop your draft picks. You can decide who you want to draft. And then once you're happy with your draft, you can go ahead and submit. So then here you'll be able to see a summary of your draft picks, and you can go ahead and edit them whenever you want. Since I'm an admin, I'll just go ahead and do the draft right now. So then if I go back to my team roster, I can see all the players I've drafted. So this just gives you a sense. And right now I'm just using kind of random points just to show you the functionality. These aren't actually based on the last season. So this is the league overview page. And here you have just kind of the league, the teams in your league, people on each team. And then you have, point totals for the season and for the week. You have a week-by-week overview of the each team and how they did each week. So just looking at my team's here for the wrong reasons. So looks like I'm in last place in this league. And then we also have some stats. So this season MVP, and then also the highest scoring play of the season, which is just the highest scoring thing that someone did on the show. And then lastly, we have the Smack Talk board. So you can write notes to people in your league, just, like typical fantasy football. So then if we go over to this week, we can see just a basic summary of what happened on the show this week. So these are just the players that were on the show. Since this is kind of set towards the end of the season, there aren't that many. But you can see kind of things that they do to earn points. So like Eric here said the word fairy tale and earned 10 points. And you can get a sense of kind of what players can do to earn points. So there are basically 3 categories of points. So there's things like earning a rose, winning, the sort of normal show milestones. There's things that they do, so crying, making other people cry, getting drunk at a rose ceremony, those sort of things will get them points. And then there's things that they say, so little phrases that are common in reality TV and especially The Bachelor. So like saying the word fairy tale or saying that they're here for the right reasons, things like that will also get the points. And then if we look at the page of an individual player, we just get kind of some basic info about the player, age, hometown, occupation. And then we can see how they did the season. So week by week progress and points that they earned. And then just some basic stats. So it looks like Peter here was in 5th place this season. And he has 420 points so far. And then this is an interesting feature. So the way the game works is that you would draft before the season starts. So you're not going to have a ton of information on these people. So what I did is I put together a personality analysis for them. And this is using the Watson API, and that's basically analyzing their Twitter feeds and coming up with this personality profile. So you can kind of use this to do some analysis and see which players you think are going to earn the most points. And then we also have a social media page. So this is also just giving you that extra information that you might need for drafting. And then it's also just kind of fun to see what people are up to during the season. So yeah, that's pretty much the app.
That's awesome. I love it. Well done. It's so cool. So I'm interested in a bit more about the personality thing. Like, what can you tell me a bit more about how that works?
Yeah. So in Mod 3 of Turing, we get introduced to APIs, which basically allow you to get data from other databases and other websites. So there's an API out there called the Watson Personality Insights API. And what that'll do is basically, if you pass it some text of any sort, it'll run like a personality analysis on the text and give you back percentages for various traits. So basically the way I did that is just, I had to basically use two APIs to do this. One was the Twitter API. So I would, for each contestant, I would do an API request to Twitter and get their news feed, and then I would pass that into the Watson API, and it would come back with this analysis. And then I used a jQuery plugin to get these charts here.
Wow, that's awesome. That's so cool. I think that's such a cool feature.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I was wondering about is when this is up and running and you're using it, how do you expect contestants to be able to get points? Will that be actually based on the real show? Will people be adding the points in as it goes, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I'll go back to this week. So yeah, it'll be based on the real show. So every week, it'll be something that the admin, who will probably be me, will have to just go and enter while they're watching the show.
Right.
So every week I'll just, look out for all these events, and enter those in, and then they'll show up for the contestants.
Cool. Oh, it sounds like it'd be really fun to play.
Yeah, I'm excited to test it out this season.
Yeah, when does the next season start?
I think it starts in January.
Okay.
So that's kind of my next deadline, is to get it all ready for production, and so that I can play with friends and test it out this season.
Yeah. The one other thing I'm not sure if you mentioned this already, but how do you create a new league?
So yeah, when you sign up, I was just logged into my account, so I was already in leagues. But when you sign up, you would go and have the option to create a league, and then I actually made it. I made it multiplayer teams. So just because of the numbers of the contestants on the show, it only works well if there's 3 to 4 teams. So I just decided if you want to play with more than 4 people, multiplayer teams would be nice, because then you couldn't have more than one person on a team. So yeah, that's sign-up process is still kind of in progress, but there will be a way to create leagues, join existing leagues, join teams, that sort of thing.
Very cool. That's awesome. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the front-end design process for this website.
Yeah, so I'm in the back-end program at Turing, so the front-end and design and everything is definitely not my specialty, but I wanted it to look good. So in the back-end program, we use a front-end framework called Bootstrap. So that's what this is using, and it basically just allows you to make decent-looking front-ends without writing all the custom CSS yourself. So I did that, and that gives you things like these tabs here without writing a lot of JavaScript. And then I also did a ton of custom CSS on top of that, just to make it look more customized and kind of the way I wanted it to look. So
awesome. Yeah, it looks really cool. It looks really professional and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time just kind of looking at other websites and seeing what design patterns worked and what didn't, because in the backend program we don't really touch on that as much. So.
Right. And what were the other technologies you used to build it in the back end? And did you have to learn any new tech that hadn't been covered in the Turing curriculum?
Yeah, so the back end, it's a Rails app, so that's mainly the back end. I did have to learn, kind of go farther into front end technologies like jQuery and Ajax than we had really been exposed to at the time. So to do this smack talk here, this is using Ajax. The drafting functionality was using jQuery and Ajax. So I'd say, yeah, that was the main technologies that I had to learn. I had a pretty good understanding of Rails by the time I was doing this. So.
Awesome, well done. That's so cool that you were able to learn those extra technologies for it. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then what was the biggest challenge you had while you were building this project, and how did you kind of overcome that?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest challenge would probably be the drafting functionality with the drag and drop. That was something I was trying to get this ready for the demo night that Turing does, where we all share projects that we're working on. And I hadn't really planned to do the drafting because I didn't think I had time, but a couple of days before I just decided I really wanted to do it. And I thought of the drag and drop idea, and I was like, that would be really cool. But as a back-end engineer, I had like no idea how to do that. So yeah, so that was definitely challenging because I had to kind of, make that happen in a short amount of time. The resource I ended up using was I just found a blog post that kind of a similar process with a jQuery plugin. So by following that and then kind of debugging things on my own to make them work the way I wanted, I was able to get that done. But that was definitely challenging, especially right before I was trying to get this ready to show to people.
Yeah, but well done for figuring that out. That's awesome. Very cool. Cool. And then you were mentioning that you're wanting to get it ready for the next season of is it the Bachelor or the Bachelorette?
It's both. So the data I have now is using the last Bachelorette season,
Okay.
and then the upcoming season is the Bachelor. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so you were mentioning you wanted to get it ready in time for that, and I was wondering like what are the next steps for you to get it there, and then who will you kind of be sharing this with?
Yeah, so I think, like I said, there are some pieces of the sign-up process that I still need to get up and running. And I think other than that, it's mainly just, getting, once the contestants are determined for that season, I'll just have to, get all their data in there. And then just kind of, going through the user process and making sure everything works. So I think that's pretty much the next steps for the next season that starts in January.
Awesome. And then will you be like, who will you kind of be playing it with, do you think? Are you going to share it with your friends and family and that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I'll probably play with the friends that I had originally played in spreadsheets with. I think they're excited to not have to play in spreadsheets anymore.
Cool.
And then, yeah, a lot of people from Turing have been interested, so maybe we'll get a few leaks going here.
Nice. And then past that, do you think you might want to kind of keep working on it so you can open it up to the public or something in the future?
Yeah, I definitely have like long-term plans for it. I'm hoping to make it a mobile app for it, because I think this is the kind of thing that people do on their phones. I mean, I definitely do my fantasy football on my phone. So that would be like after the next season, I'll probably dive into that. And yeah, hopefully I can, get it open to more people. It's something that people seem to be really interested in. So maybe have the mobile app on the App Store, or, have the public kind of being able to access the website. So yeah.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much. Very cool.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. So you said you're about to graduate in 3 weeks from Turing. Very exciting. I was wondering if you could tell me about your plans when you graduate, like what sort of, role or job you're looking for.
Yeah. So I'm in the backend program, so I'm kind of looking for a backend role, but I'm also interested in front-end technologies. You saw in that app that I did some front-end work. So I'm basically looking for like a back-end or full-stack role, and just looking for a place where I can continue to learn a lot, because even after 7 months, there's still so much more to learn in the software engineering world, and it pretty much never stops. So just looking for a place where I can be surrounded by people that I can learn from, hopefully looking to stay in Denver.
That's awesome. Are there any particular industries that you're interested in working in, like anything related to your like previous background?
I'd be open to fintech startups. I don't know that there's anything like specifically related to my previous background, because it was kind of a niche industry in the finance world. But yeah, I'm kind of open to any industry. I think the most important thing is just to have like a collaborative learning environment, and just lots of opportunities for growth.
Cool, awesome. Well, that's all of my questions. So yeah, thank you so much for showing me your app. It's so cool. And all the best for finding a job. I mean, with your skills and being able to show that off to potential employers, I think you're gonna go far.
Yeah, hopefully.
Awesome. Thanks so much.